Hi everyone, it's Anne here from Positively Papercraft, and this is series number 2 of the sort of beginners or back to basics or even just tips and tricks, that kind of thing, refreshing about this one is heat embossing. We kind of touched on it last week, so I don't want to waffle too much, but basically there's an abundance of embossing powders. These are my selections that I have. I used to have loads more and I got rid because you don't need all of them. So I want to touch on something. So this is Cosmic Shimmer. I'm imagining they still do it. It's detail embossing powder. So this is great for sentiments. Just grab the stamp set here. It's going to really pick up all that text. So yeah. Detail embossing powder. Also, wow, do the super fine. Super fine again is another great one for detailed images that you want to emboss. So bear that in mind, because I don't have any now. I threw them. I either put them in the bargain boxes or got rid of them. But there's regular powders which, you know, may not pick up that detail. So just have a look on your little bottles. This one is okay, I believe. I've used this one, but yes, so these ones are really good. I'm hoping you can still get them. So that's that. Now we touched on this last week, the inks, Versamark. This would be my go-to. The Wow one is really good. I haven't even opened mine. It must be good. This is a Hero Arts one, so there's many around, but definitely go for a good branded one, because I don't want to like put companies down or, you know, sort of call them. That's not what I'm about here. But I know I got a one, I think years ago, I think I got one from Hobbycraft or somewhere, their own brand, and I was really disappointed with it. I found the powder kept falling off, so that's my recommendation. Go for a good branded embossing ink. So you will also need a heat tool. We touched on this last week. I've got a few of these. It's not necessary. One will do the job. So various surfaces you can heat emboss on. My favourite is vellum. You can't get this Stampin' Up! Vellum anymore. That's made me so upset. You can also heat emboss on acetate, but it has to be heat resistant. This creates some absolutely beautiful effects, which we're going to do some. So that's another one, yeah. And obviously paper and card, and as I touched last week, you know, make sure it's a nice smooth card. So I'm going to show you how I heat emboss on vellum, because I still get asked this a lot. Now I'm going to grab this stamp. No rhyme or reason, just grab one. This is a rubber stamp. Now you don't really need a sort of spongy mat underneath with rubber. However, if you are using, this is a photopolymer stamp, and say you're stamping and it's missing parts of it, you would really be good to have a sort of mat, like some kind of foam mat underneath. It could also be a mouse mat, little pack of magazines, you know, just something to get it in, but we don't need that for that. So again, we touched on it last week. This is so important. You need some kind of embossing bag. It's just talcum powder or corn powder. That's it, cornstarch or corn flour in a little bag. You can buy them. You could make your own. That is crucial. So you really want to be giving this a really, really good wipe, because it's going to stop finger marks and greasy marks. Now, if you feel like you're touching your paper a lot and maybe your fingers are greasy, just tap a little bit, touch your fingers on it. That's going to stop you adding excess marks again while you're going around wiping it off. So that's another little tip, do that. So we're going to use this. So I've picked the stamp. You're going to need a stamping block to stamp it. Another thing I will quickly touch on is if you are struggling to stamp still, you might find that a stamping platform could be the answer for you. I have a few of these and it's not something I would go to use unless it's like, say, a really big sort of image and I really don't want to muck it up. This one, the lid comes off. Basically, you would put your card on there, keep it down with your magnets, and then you're going to be able to, when you take this off, providing your card isn't moving, which that's what these are for, you would be able to then ink it and stamp it again. And it's going to, you know, it could help you out if you feel like you're struggling with stamping still. So we've got the stamp. I'm just going to go for my Versamark and I'm just going to tap, sort of lightly tap the ink on it. Just keep going around and around, make sure it's really covered. So just tap, tap. We're not going to press it in, just tap. Okay. Then we are going to just grab this bottom corner and I'm going to stamp this. And I'm going to press a few times and just let that ink soak into that vellum. And then peel it away. Now you may not be able to see, but I can see there, that's a lovely stamped image. So we will go for, let's go for a silver glittery powder this time. And we just want to sprinkle it on our little flower. Just tap any off and there you go, that is perfect, absolutely perfect. No finger marks or anything because we use the embossing bag. Now for your heat tool, let it heat up a little bit before you start putting it to the card. So let it heat up. This has 1 and 2 speeds. I normally heat it up with 2 and then move it down to 1 to do the vellum because we don't want to burn it. And then when you emboss it, you don't need to be moving it around like this. If you hold it a certain way, you'll be able to see and you can just move it around and it'll be done. Okay, so let's get this embossed, but first we need to heat it up. There we go. Absolutely beautiful. So then I could come along with the die or fussy cut it out with scissors, okay? Then what we could do is I've just grabbed an alcohol marker, no particular colour, and if we get that piece of card back and then turn it to the back side. I mentioned it last week, but I didn't show you. And then if we just colour in, and we don't want to go out the lines, but we can definitely go over them because you won't be able to see that from the inside. And then just colour this in. And this does create some beautiful coloured vellum. And if I show you now, when you turn that over, you have that gorgeous colour shown through. Okay, so there is that one. Alright, so I just quickly finished it off and put some sort of yellowy green in the middle. Now, heat resistant acetate. This is lovely, lovely stuff. So I'm going to put that on there. We'll give it a little wipe with this. And then we're going to do that same flower. Now this is going to be slippy. So you've got to be careful that you don't move your stamp. Otherwise, you know, it will make it look like you need glasses. Or you're wearing 2 pairs of glasses or something. So I'm going to place it on. And I'm just going to make sure it's there, not moving it at all, and just press. Say 3 times. And then I am going to carefully lift it off. And I can see there. Let's put some gold powder on this time. See that there? And then same thing, we'll let the heat tool heat up a little bit. And let's heat set this. Now this one sets really quickly. Isn't that absolutely beautiful? That is just so, so pretty. I'm just thinking what it would look like on the top of there. So yeah, we've got a vellum, we've got an acetate one. And just think, you know, if you cut them out and layer them up, you could really make some beautiful sort of clear looking flowers. That is absolutely gorgeous. Now you can come behind with the pens again, but you tend to find it can go a little bit sort of streaky. So I don't tend to colour them, but you can if you want to. So that is the 2 flowers. Alright, so if you have, say, other inks like the archival or distress oxides, whatever, in colours, you can heat emboss with these as well. So, for example, these here is this ink, and that one's that one, that one's that one, and it's really easy. So all you would do is come along first with your embossing ink, just tap it in there a few times, and then get one of your distress inks a couple of times in there, stamp it down. I'll do that again because I don't, this might need re-inking actually. That's better. And then get your clear embossing powder. Let me put it on the card here that I've got over here. And then you can see that that powder has stuck to that image there. And then heat emboss this the same way. So really, hence why you don't need loads of different colours of embossing powders, because you can really heat emboss with all of your inks. So let me heat set this. You can see there it's heat embossed beautifully. So that is another really good tip. I think that's why I stopped buying coloured embossing powders years ago. You really don't need it. So all of your oxides, your archivals, distress inks, it will, but you will still probably get more of a sort of rougher look. But definitely a really crisp image with the distress oxides. So experiment with what inks you've got. Just tap them in your stamping ink first, your Versamark or whatever you're using. Make sure your stamps are clean. If you come to put it back in your Versamark, you want it to be clean first, so you're not making your Versamark or your embossing ink all different colours. So yes, I hope that's helped anybody. I'm just trying to quickly think of anything that I've missed, but that is how I heat emboss, and I don't have any issues with it. Definitely try the heat resistant acetate and the vellum, because it's really is beautiful. I forgot how much I love doing this, so I might start and do some more of this actually. But yeah, hope that's helped anybody or answered any questions. If there's anything else, if I've missed anything, just say in the comments and I'll try to help. But yes, it's just what I've picked up and what I've learned along the way, and it works for me. So yes, thanks for watching everyone. Don't forget to subscribe and hit like or hype the video if you can. It just really helps YouTube get the content out to maybe people who haven't discovered me, that kind of thing. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye for now.